Hi Critics and Queens, my name is Natalie. Welcome to my channel. In today's episode, I will go through why I'm waiting right now for both Bitcoin and Ethereum to end the consolidation, potentially on Ethereum break 1,500 for a potential lower high being created, and then that could be the drop back to the downside. I will also explain why it's very important for me to wait for the break of this support, because we just might see the market pull back down to 1,500 for then have a bigger push to the upside. And if that's the case, I actually lost my trade if I didn't follow my strategy. I will show you the exact same thing why it's very important right now to wait for Bitcoin also to give me the confirmation. Don't forget that I'm no financial advisor. You need to look up everything yourself first, but please continue looking at this video and I'll show you what I see right now on Bitcoin on Ethereum. Let's go. We're looking at Bitcoin on the weekly chart, and we are right now reaching the Fibonacci levels that we are taking from the weekly lower high with the lower low, and that is Fibonacci levels 24,700 and 25,900. From these levels, if we see that Bitcoin push back up to it, we can expect on the lower time frames that we are consolidating in between the 50 and 61%. If we see that slowly and steady on the lower time frames that we're breaking the uptrend and starts to create a downtrend, this could be the beginning of the next impulsive move, which is to the downside because the overall trend is a downtrend. If that is the case, the first target that I'm looking at is 16,800. The second target I'm looking at is 11,300, and the last target that I'm looking at is 6,600. But first of all, we need to pull back up to these potential levels to see the market slowly and steady break to the downside, and these are the targets that I'm looking for that can be hit in a couple of weeks. If we're looking at Ethereum right now, we are retesting around 1,500, 1,600. If we go down to the lower time frames, what we can also do is that we're taking a Fibonacci, and we can see that we are right now in between 1,492 Fibonacci level and 1,610. On the lower time frames, we can already see that the market is right now consolidating in between these levels on Ethereum. One thing that before I would even considering to go in a sell position, it is if we break below this support that we do have around 1,465, we break this level, potential create another lower high, and that could also be against the Fibonacci levels 1,400, 1,500 again, and that could be the lower high, and that could be the beginning of the drop that we are looking at, because overall the market is still in a downtrend. What we're looking at right now is only a pullback on the higher time frames, because as we all know, what goes down must go up and what goes up must go down, and right now what we're looking at is a pullback. It can look something like this. We see the market pull back to the upside, we see the drop, pull back to the upside, see the drop. So we're looking at right now, and the most important thing is to see where potentially that drop can happen from, and that is why I am using this low to see if that could be the beginning of the drop, because remember that when we are in a uptrend, for us to even see the beginning of the downtrend, we need to break the last higher low, and right now we have not done that yet. We are consolidating in between the Fibonacci level that I spoke about, and always on the higher time frames Fibonacci levels, this is where we see the market consolidate before it creates the momentum and find the strength to then continue to the downside. It's repeatedly patterns that we see over and over again. The same thing on the higher time frames, the market is consolidating before it gets the power to break to the upside, and the same thing happening on the lower time frames. The market is consolidating, collecting power, and then you see the market drop. The only difference is on the higher time frames, you obviously need to wait longer for the consolidation for actually to end, but when we are inside these Fibonacci levels and expect a pretty not the drastic bounce to the downside, but we're not going to consolidate for this long inside these Fibonacci levels. This is actually where we either see the market break and do exactly what the market actually will do what it's supposed to do if it goes to the downside, but we can also see the market break above these levels around 1,600 and see the market have more momentum to the upside. That is why it's really important to wait for the confirmations, because if I don't wait for the confirmation, I'm just guessing. It's just a guessing game for me, and I don't want to do that, because we just might only pull back down to around 1,500 only to create another support, retest the previous support, the previous higher low, for then have another pushback up, take us to higher targets, consolidate, and then you see the market drop from there. So the confirmations is really important, and that's why I also use the support trend line, because that is connected with the last higher low. So if I see the break of it, that is giving me a better confirmation that the move is actually happening. And if the market is not, even if we see that the market now potentially could break and I go in for a sell position around these levels, it depends on where the lower high is obviously created, and then I sell the market from nowhere, we see the market, you know, have a bigger momentum to the upside, we see the push, that it can definitely happen, and we always have to have that in mind. But as long as we're following our strategy, that is the main goal, because otherwise it's just a guessing game. And if you have a strategy that you know works more than 50%, you're actually good to go. So that is why right now I'm just very patient. I'm waiting for the market to break the support, and it's the same thing when it happens on Bitcoin. If we just go back to look in the on the lower time frames on Bitcoin, is that exact same thing. So we're almost at the 51%, and we just might have another pushback to the upside. Another thing that we also can do is that we're using the high of this of this resistance that we did break, because if we would see that Bitcoin from nowhere is now breaking, we don't have the power to reach these Fibonacci levels that I spoke about around 24,700 and 25,800. We just might only see a fake out from the resistance as 22,980, and if we close below this previous resistance, also around 22,650, this could be where the market is actually the only thing that we saw was a fake out from the resistance. So many people thought the market would go up, but now the market is heading back down again. This is the same thing. I'm not doing anything until I see the market actually breaking below 22,660, because that gives me a better confirmation that we're actually on our way down, because we just might only see the market pull back into this zone again, and then see the market push back up to the Fibonacci levels, and this is where we see the market consolidate, and then slowly and steady see the market reverse. At that point, I've been taking a trade that actually doesn't give me any signs that we're actually pulling back down to the downside, if this is not what I actually see. If that's the case, I just might go in for a long position here and buy the market to where I expect the market for them to drop. So everything is about levels and how the market is behaving around these levels, and after that I take a decision, and this is right now what I see on both Bitcoin and on Ethereum. Don't forget that you can also receive a bonus on BYBIT up to $4,450 by using the link in the description down below the video. This is how you are supporting me in Bitcoinsensus, so I am always available for you. As I always say, BYBIT is the best platform with the very low fees that we have when we hold our positions for a longer time. So claim the best bonus available. You have it right here in the corner as always. Thank you so much guys for looking at this video together with me. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications so you know when I do have my daily updates or live next time. This week I will not have so many live streams, just so you know it by now. Just so you know, that's why you don't see me going on live streams. But the next week, hopefully everything will be back to normal. I wish everyone a great day. Remember, always trade with risk management, and remember, whatever you want to do, you can do that in life. Okay, don't let anyone stop you from anything. You're the only one technically stopping you from doing things because you are afraid of doing things, blah blah blah. Don't be afraid, just do it. Okay, have a good day. From Sweden.